This week kicks off with a wave of excitement for firearm fans. New gear is landing fast, and there's a solid mix of innovation and practicality in the bunch. Whether you're into pistol-caliber carbines, hammer-fired handguns, commemorative rifles, or even big-bore air guns, there's something fresh to catch your eye. Some of these are built to stretch performance limits, while others focus on value and everyday use. A few entries in the airgun segment are raising eyebrows with their power output, and one in particular is built like a tank. On the other side, traditional names are doubling down with new versions of proven designs. Also worth noting, the DIY scene is catching fire. More people than ever are using 3D printers to crank out useful gear and explore what homegrown customization really means. And we'll talk about that a bit too. There's a lot to cover, so we're diving right in. Starting off with something that hits the sweet spot between affordability and function, the EP10 from Xtar. For those familiar with the brand, it's no surprise they're back with another budget-friendly option, and this one packs more punch than you might expect. Chambered in 10mm auto, this compact PCC is built on a polymer receiver platform that helps keep the weight down and the price even lower. Sure, some folks might side-eye polymer for not being end-of-the-world durable, but it makes sense in a platform like this. Lighter to carry, quicker to aim, and easier on the wallet. Another detail worth pointing out is how compact and nimble the gun feels in hand. Even with the brace extended, the weight distribution remains balanced, and controls are placed in familiar positions for AR-style users. The polymer construction doesn't feel cheap. In fact, it contributes to a fast, agile feel that complements the 10mm punch surprisingly well. The top of the receiver features a side-charging handle for smoother manipulation, and the front end is finished with an M-lock handguard and a blast-diverting muzzle device that keeps your support hand out of the hot zone. It comes in a few different configurations, including a braced version and a longer-barreled model, but the short format is where it really shines. Internally, Xtar seems to have adapted the same weighted buffer system from their 9mm model, helping tame the recoil, which, in this case, felt surprisingly manageable. You might even mistake it for a .45 at first pull. It runs on Glock pattern magazines, making mag compatibility a non-issue for many shooters already in that ecosystem. Pricing is where this thing makes the most noise. With an MSRP hovering just under $650, the EP10 could easily find its way into a lot of range bags this year. It's not often you get a 10mm PCC at this price point that doesn't feel like a compromise. Definitely one to keep on the radar. Next up is something for the hammer-fired loyalists out there, the Kimber CDS9 Classic. While Kimber's reputation may be a mixed bag depending on who you ask, this model leans into a cleaner, more refined aesthetic and aims to bring back some of that old-school confidence. It's a compact package with a 3.18-inch barrel and comes with both 13-round and 15-round magazine options. The CDS9 Classic ships with ambidextrous controls and nicely textured nylon grips that offer a solid purchase without being overly aggressive. For those who prefer optics, there's an optic-ready version with a polished flat side on the slide that stands out visually. If simplicity is more your thing, the night sight-only version comes in all black and skips the front sight to keep things clean. MSRP lands at $865 for the optic-ready variant and $795 for the blacked-out one. One aspect that deserves mention is how well the gun points. The profile of the slide and the contour of the grip come together in a way that encourages quick target acquisition. While it's not built to be flashy, there's a confidence to the layout. Simple, deliberate choices that seem to favor function over flourish. Not exactly entry-level pricing, but certainly not out of line for what it offers, especially for those who prefer the crisper break of a hammer-fired trigger over a striker-fired system. The build quality on this specific line seems to be a step up, and so far, it hasn't carried over the QC complaints seen in other Kimber offerings. For folks looking to carry or compete with something a bit more refined, and with a classic feel, the CDS9 Classic might check all the right boxes. It's sleek, functional, and has enough polish to feel premium without getting into boutique territory. Moving on to a more refined entry in the full-size handgun space, the Beretta 92X RDO Inox continues the legacy of the classic 92 series while bringing a few modern touches to the table. It holds on to the unmistakable profile of the iconic platform, but introduces features aimed at today's performance-focused shooters. Most notably, the slide is optic-ready, offering flexibility for those running red dots, and the barrel measures a standard 4.7 inches. Capacity sits at a healthy 18 rounds, and the Inox finish gives it a distinct visual character that separates it from the darker variants in the lineup. Controls are intuitive, and the overall ergonomics should feel familiar to anyone who has spent time behind a 92. Beretta's 90 series has long been known for its reliability, and this version doesn't stray far from that path. What's interesting is how Beretta continues to expand the line. They're deep into the double digits in terms of 92 variants, and the 92X RDO Inox feels like a thoughtful evolution rather than a quick refresh. MSRP comes in at around $999, placing it firmly in the premium handgun territory. While not the cheapest option, the price seems justified by the level of refinement and the added optic-ready capability. For those who appreciate a classic platform with subtle modernization, the 92X RDO Inox offers a solid blend of old-school feel and updated utility. For the history buffs, or anyone with a soft spot for wartime designs, Chiappa has rolled out a limited edition rimfire carbine that pays tribute to the legendary M1. This commemorative model is chambered in 22 LR and comes with a number of authentic touches: an 18-inch barrel, a wood-stocked frame, a period-style rear sight, and even a vintage-style canvas sling and oiler. Adding to its collectability, the stock is inlaid with a medallion honoring the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II. Only 1,945 units are being produced, matching the year the war ended, giving it some added historical context. While many commemorative guns lean toward display pieces, this one remains functional and shootable. The MSRP is set around $530, making it surprisingly accessible for a rifle with this kind of detail and limited production run. That said, as with all rimfire clones, reliability will depend on how well it cycles various ammo types. If it runs reliably, it could be a fun plinker and a nice addition to any collection, both as a shooter and a piece of living history. Now for something a bit different, but undeniably impressive in its own right. The Tex-Rex 457 from AirForce. This isn't your backyard plinker. It's a pre-charged pneumatic PCP rifle designed for serious power and long-range capability. With a 34-inch barrel and the ability to launch 400-grain slugs, the Tex-Rex is capable of delivering over 1,000 foot-pounds of energy. That's a lot, even by big-bore air rifle standards. With lighter projectiles, muzzle velocity can climb to over 1,200 feet per second, giving it real potential for medium game hunting or high-impact target shooting. While it still carries the airgun label, this rifle sits in a performance space that rivals some centerfire options, especially when considering recoil, cost per shot, and local legal flexibility. At a listed MSRP of around $1,170, it's certainly not cheap, but it's positioned as a purpose-built tool for those who understand the platform. It's well beyond casual airgun territory and into enthusiast-grade equipment. For those who know how to set up and tune a PCP system, the Tex-Rex brings a serious punch. The next air rifle takes a completely different direction, one focused on precision and competitive performance. The Red Panda PRS is a .22 caliber PCP rifle built specifically for precision rifle series style events. From the first glance, it's clear this is a dedicated competition tool. It features a 28-inch barrel, 18-round magazine, and an extended M-lock handguard to accommodate bipods, weights, or any number of accessories. What stands out most is the rifle's weight, 16.8 pounds. That might sound excessive for a rimfire or airgun, but in PRS shooting, weight translates to stability and smoother follow-up shots. On top is a 30 MOA canted rail for long-distance scope setups, making the rifle ready for extended range engagements right out of the box. According to early users, including some pre-production testers, the Red Panda has already secured wins in real competition settings. Accuracy seems to be a strong point, which helps justify the $2,400 price tag. That's a significant investment. But for serious shooters looking to transition into or expand their presence in air-powered PRS-style competition, this platform is ready to deliver. It's not for everyone, but for the right shooter, it checks all the right boxes. The world of 3D printing has come a long way in the last few years, and it's starting to carve out a real space in the firearms community, especially when it comes to accessories and functional support gear. While it's not quite at the point where people are reliably printing entire firearms for daily use, the current capabilities are impressive enough to be worth talking about. For starters, shooters are printing everything from magazine holders and speed loaders to angled foregrips, cheek risers, and even wall mount racks for safe storage. The precision and reliability of machines like the Bamboo X1, Prusa MK4, and the Ender 3 line mean that hobbyists and professionals alike are now producing parts that are not only functional, but surprisingly durable. What's important to note is that most of the printed components in use today aren't replacing high-stress parts like bolts or barrels. Instead, they're supplementing setups, giving shooters a way to personalize gear, build their own range tools, and test out ideas without waiting on long lead times or high costs. There's also momentum behind more advanced printing options, like carbon fiber-infused filaments and even metal-capable desktop printers. The frontier's still developing, but it's clear that 3D printing isn't just a gimmick. It's becoming a practical part of the gun owner's toolkit. For those willing to tinker, experiment, and learn a bit of CAD, it opens up a world of modular, customizable solutions that weren't available even a few years ago. This latest wave of releases shows just how much the firearms world continues to evolve, not only through traditional manufacturers refining their platforms, but also through user-driven innovation, like 3D printing. That's changing how people interact with their gear. Whether it's a 10mm PCC that punches above its price point, a classic full-size pistol brought up to modern standards, or an air rifle built with competitive precision in mind, each release brings something new to the table. At the same time, the line between factory and homemade continues to blur. The tools are becoming more accessible, and the possibilities more realistic. That blend of heritage and high-tech thinking is what makes this space so interesting right now. As always, staying informed is what makes for better decisions, whether you're shopping, tinkering, or just keeping up with what's out there. There's plenty more to come. But this has been a solid drop all around.